Are you in the market for some new DJ headphones? Then don't worry, we're going to look at 6 headphones today under £200 or near about £200. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's get stuck in. Okay, here we have all of the contenders today. We have 6 models, so starting from the cheapest range here. So we have the Numarks HF125s, £7.50 these bad boys were. And then we have the Sony MDR V150s. They were coming in at £12.50. And then we have the Audio Technicas ATH M20X Professionals. They were £50. These are Pioneer's HDJ-X5, and I bought these for £60, but apparently now they're 95, so no idea what's going on there. Must have got them in a sale. And then these are the Sennheisers HD25s, and then we have these bad boys, the V-Moda Crossfade M100s. These are just over 200 quid, but I'm pretty sure you could pick them up for slightly less than that. Testing today. Let's crack on. Just to explain, we have 3 rounds of testing. So we've got sound quality, comfort and build. In those different categories, scoring out of 5 per category. And then at the end, I'm going to give a winner for each category and then an overall recommendation for the headphones that I'd advise for you and some tips along the way as well. If you want to see the full breakdown of all of the review that I've done on these DJ headphones, head to Beatmatch Guru, click on the headphones page on my recommended gear page. Just a caveat, in the audio section of this first round, we're looking at mono versus stereo. Stereo is what I'm looking for, mono is just the sound is a bit squashed. And don't really want that in the headphones for me personally and for you guys out there too. The frequency range is what I'm looking for too in this round. It's looking for balance between low, mid and the high. We don't want too much low or we don't want too much high. So let's get stuck into the testing. Okay, so I've been testing out the quality round on the sound audio quality, the frequencies and stereo width and whether it sounds mono or stereo. So I've been testing out the Numarks and also the Sonys. So this is like the budget range. The quality is just not there. The sound is just sort of like boxed in. It sounds like it's compressed. Just the stereo width is not very wide either. So with these budget headphones, I found that the audio quality is pretty low, and I think that just reflects in the price. Okay, so the Audio Technica, the ATH M20X. Okay, so I've been testing these out for a little bit as well, and in comparison to the others, the higher end ones, these are pretty balanced, but I would say the issue that I have with these is the mid to high end is slightly, or the high end frequencies, so like where you hear the cymbals and the mids and like the snare, so in the range of frequencies. The mid to high for me is slightly too peaky. The point is that when you turn up the volume to a decent level, that I find it distorts a bit, and it potentially, imagine if you're DJing with these for a long period of time, you could potentially get a bit of tinnitus maybe because of that high-end distortion. But having said that, in comparison to the budget ones, these Audio Technicas are well balanced, and the stereo imaging of the audio's top notch. I would say that's really good. So yeah, moving on. Okay, so I've just been testing out these bad boys, the Pioneers. Definitely balanced on the highs and the mids of the EQ. But yeah, I mean, if you like bass, then definitely get these ones. But yeah, I think they're good. It's just like, I've said in another review prior to this, is that I DJ'd for about 2 hours with these, and it does give you a bit of like, oh, I've had a lot of bass in the ear roll. So yeah, moving on. So testing these ones as well on the EQ and the sound quality, the Sennheisers. I think the audio quality of these is so balanced. So I'm giving really good marks for the stereo field. It doesn't feel like any audio is being squashed in like a lot of these others. It feels like on the Pioneers, for example, the bass was being squashed in, and it just feels like a compressors in your ears and making the sound boxy. But these HD25s, very balanced, and stereo width, the bass, the mid, like the snares, like pianos and stuff, and then the highs or the percussion just feels also balanced. Right, last one, so let's go on to the V moders. So I've been testing out these V moders, and I have to say the sound quality is sublime, and it's very similar to the HD25s, the Sennheisers. But I think what's important to note is that these Sennheisers are on ear, right? But they're covered like they're over ear. So I think this is my interpretation of the difference between these and these, is that these are more bassier, but I don't know whether that's because they are on ear and they're just like clamping in, shoving that bass in your ear, and they're like resonating a bit better. Because you look at the size of the cups on these, they're massive compared to the Sennheisers, but in terms of audio quality, they're very similar. So, but the price point's very different as well. So that's really interesting to note. So slightly bassier, very balanced, stereo filled, spot on. Can't fault them, sublime. Top end, lovely jubbly. Right, let's move on to round two. So clearly the audio quality winner is the Sennheiser's HD25s. Moving on. Okay, so let's get quicker at this. I think the comfort of the Numarks, I like them because they're lightweight and they clamp on your head enough so you're like smashing your head, like getting into the mix. They're not going to fall off. The good thing about them is that they've got this comfort thing up here. The only downside I find is that the pads here is a bit too soft, and then on your ears you feel the pressure of the side of the plastic. These Sonys, right, I think they're piss poor, to be honest, in terms of comfort. Foam is just not spongy at all. It might as well not exist. And a similar issue, but even more so, worse, you're pressing your ears on here and on the plastic, and just pure plastic on there. They'll probably break quite easily as well. In terms of all the others, they're all pretty similar. The comfort, you can see the big sponges here, they're all very similar. Like the Sennheisers and the Pioneers, I'd say they're probably made out of the same foam. Pioneers are slightly harder, but they feel the same, very similar. The only difference I would say actually is probably because these are on ear, the feel on your ear is slightly different, but you have got a lot of the padding up here, which most of them have. The comfort that is the best, without a doubt, is probably the V moders. These are like Ferrari in terms of comfort. They're like memory foam, is what I can say. So these are definitely clear winners on the comfort. Yeah, that's it. I think clear winners, V moders. As you can see, V moder crossfade M100s clearly win the comforts round. Let's get stuck into round three. Okay, round three is build quality, and to be honest, these guys lose. Just feel like they're going to break, feel brittle. Moving on. The Numarks, I'd say the build is for £7.50, right? The build on this is pretty sweet. You've got some nice sort of stitched foam at the top. The only thing I would notice is on the build where you've got like the slider, that is plastic, and that's the same on here as well. That's probably where they're going to break, and that's where I'd say that's why they're budget. So if we're looking at like things like the Pioneers, these are solid. Look how chunky that plastic is. That's ridiculous. These actually impress me in terms of the quality of build, and so do the V moders. So these two guys are in the running for the build quality. I'd say what's interesting is that in comparison to the budgets, you've got plastic reinforced with the metal, which makes me go like that and not feel guilty that I might snap them. And it's the same for these, but this is completely different build. These are just pure metal. Like, there's no way you're going to break these. It's like solid. It's like the Land Rover of headphones. Medium build quality, I'd probably say these are probably closer. The Sennheisers, weirdly enough, are probably like one of my favourites of all time, but these, look how the build. They're like plastic. You could break them so easily. It's a shame because the audio quality is absolutely banging. It's so balanced. I sort of skipped out the Audio Technica, so apologies for that. What I was meant to say is after the budget, you sort of have a similar issue with these bits here, with the build quality. The metal that connects the ear headphone ear muff here is slightly, it's a bit thin. It makes me concerned, but to be honest, the way that they move and stuff, it does feel durable, but I bet you could break these pretty easily. Budgets are the worst for build. You've got the Sennheisers and the Audio Technicas in the middle, and then best build are the Pioneers and the V-Moders. Again, V-Moder, Crossfade, M100, still the build category. Let's run through the scores, and then we'll figure out who's the winner of each category and who is the overall recommendation. Okay, to finish up, I've got all geeky and I've put this all into a spreadsheet and then finalised. So you can see the scores on the doors: 7 for the Numarks, 5 for the Sonys, 11 Audio Technica, 10 the Pioneers, 12 Sennheiser HD25s, and clear winners are the V-Moders. So the point I want to make is that there's definitely a clear correlation between the price point and the end winners. The more you pay, the more quality that you get. The Sennheisers, the HD25s, they are definitely without a doubt the best sound quality, the most balanced in terms of EQ across the lows, mid and the highs. The stereo field and the stereo width and the imaging on the stereo field for me is the best. The only difference is if you didn't like the on-ear, then maybe these aren't for you. They're pretty comfortable for on-ear. Over-ear are even more comfortable, hence why I've given the top price to the V-Moders on that one. So the V-Moders come in at the top in terms of all the points scored from all 3 categories. It doesn't mean that they're the best audio quality, but they certainly will be awarded from me the best comfort and the best build. Now I wanted to introduce these as a final category, just out of thin air, is these Audio Technicas, I would say, is probably the best bang for your money. And the reason being, they're 50 quid. The build quality's pretty decent, minus these little annoying thin things here. They're so light and they're so soft. They've got a beautiful sort of like smooth connection when you put them on your head. Slightly tinny at the top end, but in comparison to the budgets, you can't grumble at that. So the best value for money, I would recommend the Audio Technicas. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. That's the biggest review I've done today of headphones, so I hope you enjoyed that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, we look forward to doing more videos like this in the future. Stay tuned.